If you're someone that experiences tension between doing and rest, especially on empty days with no plans, then this video is for you. First, I want to talk a bit about how I experience that tension myself. Then, I'll offer some thoughts on things that I try to remind myself that often feel helpful for dealing with these feelings. For me, I'm someone that often struggles between wanting to seize the day, live life to the fullest, enjoy the freedom that comes with open days, while also knowing that I need relaxation, I need slowness. These things are good for me, and in some ways, they're more sustainable too. Nothing's better than just writing and reading, drinking coffee, cooking long, slow meals, going for a walk in nature. Even things that are less noble on the surface, like binging a TV series or just laying out by the pool. Long, slow days that are also usually financially cheap, too, are some of the best. Why then do I often feel this pressure on a Sunday with no set plans to come up with something to do? Perhaps it's the pressure of the incoming Monday to Friday work week that says, if you don't use this time for something fun, exciting, or productive, well then, you'll lose it. Now's your chance. Better do something with the free day that you have. There's also this pressure of it just being a warm, sunny Sunday with no obligations. No errands I need to run, no social commitments. I have the day totally free to do anything that I want, and deep down, I know that I won't always have it like that. Or at least it feels that way. Freedom can start to feel like pressure. I imagine that what I'm describing at the end of the day is simply part of the human condition, a kind of existential tension between presence and potential. On one side, I deeply recognize the joy and nourishment in being. The slow mornings, the long books, the quiet meals. I know these are the moments that restore me, that make life feel rich in a subtle, enduring way. They're not loud, but they last. Not that exciting, but wholesome. On the other side, there's always the clock ticking, the cultural drumbeat of urgency that says, go, do, squeeze the juice out of every second. For me, Sundays in particular don't just whisper, rest. They seem to shout, last chance, before the tide of the work week returns. I think this tension is common for thoughtful, intentional people, especially those that are both introspective and ambitious. You're not just trying to fill time, you're trying to honor it. Make the best you can out of it. To help me deal with this tension between doing and rest on empty days, here are some thoughts that I try to remind myself of that often feel really helpful. 1. There is no inherently wrong way to spend a day. Even if you did nothing, whatever that means, the day was still lived. A day resting is a day spent healing and digesting. A day doing less is often a day of integration, of slowing down enough to hear yourself again. We forget that doing nothing isn't neutral, it's restorative. Stillness is what lets your mind reweave itself, what gives your nervous system a chance to settle, and where a lot of the valuable moments of your living get metabolized. I like to think of relaxing days as sort of digesting the rest of my life. If I feel a little more human by the end of the day, well, I think that's a day well spent. 2. The pressure to do something with your time is often grief in disguise. That urge to maximize a free day, sometimes I think that comes from a deeper knowing that this moment is fleeting. You only live life once, and we're all marching towards our graves. And that kind of freedom that comes with facing a long, empty day won't, in fact, always be there. Time is passing. Our circumstances do change, and that can feel like loss even before it's gone. So we scramble to make something of it, but maybe we don't need to conquer time. Maybe we just need to grieve it a little, feel its passing, and make peace with the reality of impermanence and truth of change. 3. There's a difference between a full life and a full calendar. We're sold this idea that the more we pack into our lives, adventures, social plans, hobbies, accomplishments, the more we're living life to the fullest. But depth doesn't come from volume. It comes from attention. You can have an ordinary Sunday, and if you're present to it, it can be one of the most meaningful days of the year. Plans, accomplishments, adventures, these things are tangible and they show up on resumes or in conversations. But conversely, the things that we often do when we're just enjoying long, relaxing days, those things don't. They aren't that exciting on paper. They aren't anything new to talk about, but that doesn't mean that they are lesser than. A full life isn't the same thing as a full calendar. Life isn't always about packing in as much as possible. It's about the quality of our experiences too. 4. Sometimes seizing the day just means noticing it. We've been sold this idea that to seize the day is to make a splash, to climb a mountain, start a business, cross something off the bucket list. But that's just one kind of day. Seizing the day doesn't always mean doing something bold or impressive. Seizing the day, instead, could be doing what you need in that moment in time. Perhaps that isn't climbing a mountain, but instead reading a book. Perhaps that isn't waking up early, but instead sleeping in. We don't always need to perform our lives. Sometimes seizing the day is just about being in them. At the end of the day, know that it's okay to feel the pressure between wanting to live a life filled with rich new experience and wanting to instead enjoy slowness, routine, and calm. It's okay to feel the pressure. It comes from caring, from wanting to live well, from being aware that time is finite. But sometimes, the most life-affirming thing that you can do is not give into it. Recognize the tension and then let it go. Because when you trust that any type of day is enough, that you are enough, even in stillness, you start to build a relationship with time that's based not on scarcity, but on trust. You realize that you don't always have to chase meaning. You sometimes just have to let it land. And often, when you let it, it lands where you least expect it. Somewhere between the second cup of coffee and the sun warming your skin.